I came and learned many things in
It's a new dawn for Nigeria's AI journey, one driven by collective action, innovation, and the power of artificial intelligence.
Celebrating the emerging local AI success stories.
At the heart of this movement is the official launch of the Nigeria Artificial Intelligence Industry Collective, an initiative established by the Ministry of Communications, Innovation, and Digital Economy. Gathered in the room are some of the nation's leading voices in AI, all united by a shared goal, which is to accelerate Nigeria's prosperity through an inclusive and future-ready AI ecosystem.
Our vision is clear: build a nationally rooted, contextually relevant, inclusive, and coordinated ecosystem for Nigeria that reflects on the ethical governance and inclusion needs of us as a country. A year later, we are here to celebrate not just progress, but also have that opportunity to see what momentum is, where things are changing, and look at the potential of the collective to set a new direction for the country, also with the implementation of the Nigerian AI Collective. As the AI Collective, we're particularly excited today that this event is bringing together actors who are going to begin to work in synergy to ensure that AI in Nigeria is not just advanced, but aligned with our national priorities and solving real contextual problems within the country. So from government to academia to tech innovators to civil society, this room has the diversity we need to begin to bring together thought leadership to ensure that we're not just using AI ethically, but we're using it to advance and solve real problems.
But what is the agenda of the Nigeria AI Industry Collective?
What are the pillars that we want to achieve? Because it's not just that we come together. What is the essential objective? The National AI Collective is built on 5 pillars. The first is knowledge and collaboration. How do we share knowledge among ourselves? How do we build capacity? How do we ensure that there's innovation and research? How do we drive policy advocacy? And last but not the least, how do we collaborate with centers of excellence across the world and pick those learnings and domicile them, adapt them, and make them work for us? So I will just quickly tell you what we are going to be doing as far as industry is concerned. We have 3 partners who are working on this, but for our organization, our mandate is to engage the industry team. And in breaking the 5 pillars down, I'm going to be talking about what we're going to be doing on those 5 pillars. The first is on knowledge. We want to drive mass literacy. We want everyone everywhere to have a broad understanding of how AI can lead to productivity. How can I deploy AI as a business, small and medium entrepreneurs? How do we mobilize the industry to support the academia? How do we get the MTNs of this world, the InterSwitch of this world, who are sitting on tons of data, to give the data to Dr. Dumiwa? Interestingly, Dr. Dumiwa, behind you is the data champion for InterSwitch, so start striking deals. That's why we're here. And behind is Meta, so that's why we're here. So that we're able to create that collective. Because a lot of things that is needed in the academia and in the industry, how do we ensure that we're able to forge that seamless interlock of knowledge transfer and platform transfer as well?
The Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy lays emphasis on the power of the collective, and that's to enable people create, innovate, and solve real problems using AI.
Beyond these things that we see that may appear as the blocker is the asset that we have, which is our people. Nigerians will create. Nigerians are already building AI. But if we don't come together and build together, what's going to happen is that a lot of these solutions will end up not being recognized for our country. And we don't understand the power of recognition. When things are not recognized for nations, resources will not come towards those nations. To put that in context, today Nigeria is rated almost second to the last in ECI Trade Index for technology, which means how well do you export technological solutions. We're rated second to the last. Do you guys believe that's possible? Huh? It's no. Because, of course, we celebrate Floto, Paystack, and Della, all these companies. But the reality is they're not Nigerian companies. So the development we seek, if we don't come together and understand how our individual actions work against the development of our nation or in favor of our nation, the nation will struggle. The nation will struggle. So as a minister, I took two things upon myself. Right? I've done this repeatedly. You see this AI collective, I personally wrote the proposal to Luminate to fund it. Personally, with my team. And we wrote it magnanimously, saying government will not manage it. Because it's a community of practice. It should be managed by the community, by the industry. And we got the funding. Again, the first time it was being done by Luminate as well. And we got the funding, and it was passed on to people who actually can do this thing on a daily basis. And that's what we've done. And for those who are worrying about compute, we are now working, actively to actually fix that problem as well. How many of you know that we have the largest privately managed power plant in sub-Saharan Africa? It's not something you probably associate with Nigeria, but we do, in Egmi. Which is just like 30 minutes boat ride from where we are today. And the goal is to work on declaring or gazetting Egmi as the national data park for Nigeria, which means it becomes a free trade zone area, which means the government can actively work on supplying tentatively interim form of energy, gas to Egmi, so Egmi can generate more electricity that we can then use to power the national compute for the country. A national compute for Nigeria will cost anywhere between 200 to 400 million. We don't think that's too big for a country our size. Because if any country in Africa will actually drive AI, it is Nigeria. You also need to bear in mind that this is a country with about 8 subsea cables, right? Without proper connectivity, you can't power AI. Nigeria already has 8 subsea cables. Probably the only country, or maybe, the only country in West Africa. Ghana, I think they have about 7 or thereabout. Which means Nigeria is also the connectivity hub for the West African region. There's a lot of data that is already terminating in Nigeria, but also going from Nigeria out. The hyperscalers are still messing around. They don't want to come set up, but they are coming. we know they are coming. We know they're coming. But the goal is that if we can make Nigeria the connectivity hub for West Africa, the data set we're talking about for training AI is not just limited to the 230 million people that we have in the country, but close to 500 million people that we have in West Africa can also benefit from that.
First launched in October 2024, the AI Collective represents a platform bringing together government, academia, industry leaders, and civil society working hand in hand to harness artificial intelligence for real-world impact. And that vision is already taking shape with emerging homegrown success stories like GPT, MDoc, LangEasy, among others, leading the charge. Another major aspect of the launch is the unveiling of the National Artificial Intelligence Strategy and what it means to the Nigerian industry sector.
Our strategy is simple, but it is bold and it is audacious. And it's bold and audacious because we are Nigerians. We don't do simple things, right? So we want to do the big things, want to solve big problems. And we believe that through everybody here, we can do it. So it's 5 pillars. It's 12 goals and 34 initiatives. And in implementation, we're all going to come back and do it together. But bottom line is 3 key issues: infrastructure, ecosystem, AI business transformation, and then we encapsulate it with responsible and ethical. And then the icing on the cake is governance. And I think by doing all these things, we can actually achieve our goals.
The Nigerian AI story is no longer just about potential, it's about progress. And as this collective gains momentum, it is clear that Nigeria is not just embracing artificial intelligence, it's defining what it looks like on the continent.
Local AI success stories.